Distinguished panelists, distinguished audience, I would begin with thanking the distinguished speakers like Krish Gopal Krishnan, Lakshminarayan ji, and Thadani ji for acknowledging and recognizing the contribution that STPI has made in facilitating the IT industry for 2.5 decades. And it's my resolve, and I assure that STPI would continue to work with the same kind of zeal and with the same kind of ease of doing business, even in times to come, to promote the IT industry. The distinguished my predecessor speakers have already underlined and talked in a detail about the government policies also, and have also explained in a very elaborate manner about the entrepreneurship startup ecosystem across the country, and particularly in the state of Tamil Nadu. I would limit myself to the kind of initiatives that the government has taken and the kind of ecosystem that is forming to promote the entrepreneurship and promote the startup culture in India. I would begin with talking about a little about Digital India initiative that was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister of India himself in May 2015 under the overall guidance and supervision of Honorable Minister of Electronics and IT, Sri Ravi Shankar Prasad ji. This initiative was about to transform India into a digitally empowered nation. And this initiative is all about 9 pillars, which are primarily to promote the telephonic access, digital access to every citizen of this country, internet access to every citizen of this country, creating the entire infrastructure for connectivity and accessibility, for promotion of e-governance services, to giving legal value to the electronic delivery of government services to the citizens, to create a ecosystem, a manufacturing environment in this country to promote the electronics manufacturing so that the net import by 2020 becomes zero, because this was a challenge for the country. And facing this challenge and reaching to the vision and the objectives would definitely create a lot of entrepreneurs and jobs across the country. And that's how the government of India has taken so many other initiatives under this pillar itself. Then IT for jobs. Under this program, the government of India has resolved to promote the dispersal of IT industry beyond metros, because metros are so congested now. Their infrastructure is overburdened, and the cost arbitrage that the IT industry had once upon a time is fading away because of growing cost in those cities. And that's why the government of India has endeavored to promote a pilot project that is called India BPO scheme and Northeast BPO scheme with the financial outlay of 550 crore, merely for fiscal year ending March 2017. Under this scheme, I will quickly say that we are trying to create 150,000 jobs in BPO sectors, primarily in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities of the country. And you will be very glad to know that about 12,000 seats have already been taken by the bidders, which is based on the viability gap funding, a kind of subsidy that we give. Under electronics manufacturing, the topic is so connected that I would try to communicate to you that the kind of initiative that has been taken by my ministry, the Ministry of Electronics and IT, is in a way to promote availability of lot of risk capital and venture funding in the field of electronics entrepreneurship and information technology entrepreneurship. They have created an electronic development fund, which is called Funds of Funds, and it is already rolled out. Can Bank has, the financial management arm of the Can Bank has already been appointed as the nodal agency, and there are n number of applications that have been received, and there are 3 to 4, companies which have already created their own fund with the support of electronic development fund. There are n number of applications which are lined up, and by March 2017 we will be able to create enough ventures which will get into the risk capital and venture funding for the entrepreneurs, for the startups in the field of electronics and IT. Apart from this, a very ambitious incentive scheme is available, which is already operational, which is called modified incentive program which is in terms of capital incentive, which is given to the investors in the field of electronic manufacturing. It is very necessary for the self-reliance because we are importing a lot of electronics capital goods. Apart from that, Government of India is also supporting for the creation of physical infrastructure in terms of electronic manufacturing clusters, and there are policy initiatives in terms of preferential market access, preferential procurement policies, induction of quality and standards in terms of product that happen from these. Apart from that, my predecessors have already spoken about Startup India program and other initiatives that Government of India has taken to promote the entrepreneurship and startups in this country. And we have also heard that there are issues in terms of number of startups that apply and get recognized as a startup. But I would say that even if we don't apply and get for tax breaks, the major challenge that the startups in this country were facing about ease of doing business. And the Government of India has taken great initiative to ease the entire process in terms of supporting the startups in our country. Because exit policies, closure policies, self-certification itself is a major reform. As the STPI, once created, has been able to do this much job only because of its processes which are based in ease of doing business. With the support of Ministry of Electronics and IT, STPI has also endeavored to get into a kind of ecosystem where we could promote the entrepreneurs and the startups. And as a very pilot project, we have tied up with the University of Delhi and the India Electronic Semiconductor Association. And for the first time, an entrepreneur park has been established in Delhi University, which is operated by the entrepreneurs and the industry veterans under the auspices of India Electronic Semiconductor Association. And STPI only connects all the dots, puts all the stakeholders at one place to make this entrepreneur park successful. In 5 years' time, we are going to support 50 entrepreneurs in the field of electronic systems, and we have in place already 11 incubators in place, which have been screened in and selected by a jury comprising the eminent authorities in the electronics industry. Another initiative that we have taken is we have joined hand with the New Delhi Municipal Corporation, which is a civic body, and we are going to have an incubator in New Delhi itself to host and promote the entrepreneurship and products in the field of solutions for the smart cities. And the NDMC has been very kind to open all its installations and the information, the data for testing and coming up with that kind of product. STPI itself has filed 29 applications under Atal Innovation Mission. What I am trying to say is that Atal Innovation Mission and Stand-Up India program and the Electronic Development Fund of my ministry put together are going to create and facilitate the availability of enough funds for the risk capital and for the venture investments. And that's itself is a big step that Government of India, Government of today has taken to promote the entrepreneurship. With this, I would say that in times to come, as Sri Chris Gopal Krishnan has elaborated, that we need to promote the culture of innovation, culture of startup, and culture of entrepreneurship. And this culture, this kind of education and awareness has to be created right from our schools. And that is how the government of today, the academia, the associations, the state governments and local bodies and the schools and universities of today, they all will have to join hands and participate in a mechanism by which we can start inculcating that culture from the day one, so that by the time they come out of their colleges and universities, they are a mature entrepreneur and they can venture in a very, very decisive manner and informed manner into the entrepreneurship and start their startup. With this, I would thank CII for giving me an excellent opportunity to be part of this august panel and distinguished panel. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Omkar Rai. May I now request Mr. Ramchandran to